Alrighty. Valparaiso in our first game of session 2 here at the Wooden Fieldhouse. Super excited to open up this 2024-25 season here tonight. Alongside former Xavier center Kenny Freeze, Luke Westpoli with you. Again, Liberty and Valpo. Kenny, two teams kind of in the midst of rebuilds, doing it in a little bit of different ways, though, for Valparaiso, bringing back a few of their biggest pieces from last year. For this Liberty team, some new additions as we take a look at their starting lineup. This Flames team is big.
Yeah, they are very big. They got. I was looking at the guys that came in through the portal. You have 6'9", 6'9", 6'6", 6'6", 6'7". It's going to be difficult. It's going to be interesting to see Valparaiso match up with that size today.
All three guys on the bottom of your screen, Eden, Cleveland, Aquino, 6'7" or above for a Flames team that went 18-14 last year, 7-9 in year one in Conference USA. The Flames hoping to move over 500 in that conference this season and trying to finish in the conference's top half. For Valparaiso on the other side, taking a look at the Beacon starting lineup. Again, some key returners highlighted by the MVC Freshman of the Year, Cooper Schwieger.
Yeah, I'm looking to see a lot of another big jump this year from Diavero as well. Talking with the coach, it seems like he's been putting in a lot of work this year. And, it's going to be difficult for him to make that jump again, but it'll be interesting to see.
Super excited to get things going. This beautiful facility is packed to the brim. Liberty and Valparaiso, the Total Athlete Tip-Off presented by Ion. Game 2 of 3 starts right now. Owen Aquino against Cooper Schwieger on the tip. Ball in the air, off we go here from AIA. Valparaiso last year struggling to score the ball, and second-year head coach Roger Powell telling us, Kenny, look to get more experience in the portal, hoping that will pay dividends for them this year.
Yeah, they had two guys returning from two of their best three scorers starting tonight, and they have Stafford coming back later in the season, hopefully depending on his rehab. But
here's Schwieger off the drive, couldn't get it off the window. So now Liberty to the other side, and Kenny, this was a team that could really score the basketball last year. Third in Conference USA and scoring at nearly 80 a game. And wrapping around to the far side, ball to the corner for Zach Cleveland. Metheny airs one out. Can't hit from distance. And the rebound cleared out by Isaiah Shaw. Quickly to the corner. De La Cruz Monegro, the Western Michigan transfer, pulling back down. Shaw on the drive, the Grand Canyon transfer, can't get it to go off the glass. Rebound pulled back, Liberty looking to run, going the other way. It's scooped in the paint, Aquino to the corner, and the extra pass, Valpo closes out.
Seems to be a focus, trying to get the ball inside of their big guys against this team here. Obviously their first shot was a three-pointer, but they've been really pushing
driving in, it's out of bounds, and back to Valpo. So nearly 90 seconds in, and a team that could really score the basketball last year, Kenny, but Valpo, a really strong defensive possession put together.
Yeah, and talking with Coach McKay before the game, you can see that they really do have a lot of flow in their offense where they're able to score early in the shot clock, late in the shot clock, just taking what the other team gives them.
Ellis powering and swirling it in. Devon Ellis, the Maryland Eastern Shore transfer, heading back home. He's a native of Greater Chicago, and back in that area, he puts his team on the board early. Aquino lost it out of bounds, and the Valpo bench fired up, forcing a couple of early turnovers.
Some first game jitters here, I think, coming from Liberty. They took a big shot outside, deep shot, and then a turnover. A couple shaky plays here in the beginning.
There you get a look at Roger Powell Jr., second-year head coach of the Beacons. Ellis trying again. Tough finish, and it won't fall. Rebound hauled down by Isaiah Eden, the Minnesota transfer for Liberty. Quick drive. Porter pulls it back out. This is guard on forward here with Schwieger on him. Porter cutting around, and he traveled as he headed in.
Yeah, I mean, 2 turnovers now here early. Like I said, you just keep going back to it. First game jitters. Get that out of the way. Let's see what happens here.
Nearly 2.5 minutes in. There's so much anticipation that heads into a new season, and really seems like Valpo, especially on the defensive end of the floor, has channeled that energy well here early on.
All those preseason practices, preseason workouts.
Threading through, De La Cruz Monegro on the board.
Finally get a chance to put it to work here, huh?
The Western Michigan transfer, very experienced, heated up at the end of last year for the Broncos, 63 career games played. And Valpo has blanked Liberty here early on. Matheny. Back to the near wing, Porter. Contested tray, off the mark. Aquino at the offensive board, spin around finish.
That's that size we were talking about. That's a big offensive rebound there for a team that's struggling to find something on offense.
Shaw thought about the three. Now it's Schwieger. Conference player, freshman of the year last year, back off for Shaw, trying to drive baseline. It's deflected away. It'll stay on this end of the floor. And Valpo will inbound it. Isaiah Shaw, the Grand Canyon transfer, played for Valpo legend Bryce Drew at Grand Canyon. Also his nephew. Headed back to a familiar program. Of course, Drew hit what's referred to by Beacon faithful as the shot. An eventual Elite 8 run for Valpo back in the day. Rising up, a 15-foot shot for Devon Ellis, dropped short. Behind the back dribble for Matheny. In his second year with Liberty after transferring in from Bowling Green. Eden on the back cut, a two-hand jam.
There's that inside presence again.
Hampered by some injuries, Eden hoping for a fresh start after transferring over from Minnesota. Schwieger prize free, contact at the rim, puts it back himself.
That's an effort play right there. Just following up your shot, getting a good rebound. I mean, those are the kind of guys that end up being the freshman player of the year because they just have that energy, that know-how.
Valpo by 2, early goings. Eden left alone, can't bury it. Schwieger on the weak side board.
That would have been a little bit of a gut check there. You get a dunk and a 3 in the next possession.
Schwieger open for 3. Falls short. Rebound on the near side. And Liberty will slow down.
I was watching Schwieger in the warm-ups. Looks like he can really shoot the ball. It'll be interesting to see how much he does that today.
Deflection and a near takeaway. De La Cruz Monegro got 2 hands on it but couldn't control. Now Matheny carving up. Outward a 3. That air ball short off the front netting. And the rebound picked up by Valpo. Shaw, contested tray. In transition, it pops out of the well and falls into the awaiting arms of Colin Porter.
Really noticing the differences in the benches right now. Valparaiso's bench is up and getting going crazy on the defensive side here.
Fake on the ball screen. Cleveland ran out of room. Finds Aquino. Weaving through to tie it at the rim.
Liberty right now is finding some really good one-on-one.
All-American last year. Takeaway now for Liberty. Trip and fall on that end of the floor. Step back 3 from Matheny. He buries it.
That's a big shot right there.
All conference in preseason. Caden Matheny with the first made 3 to lift Liberty to their first lead. Shaw off the ball screen. He struggled with injuries throughout his career. Now up top at Schwieger, contested triple, misses right, and Cleveland's there for the board.
I think you can see how confident Schwieger is and the preparation that went into this game in this summer coming off the year he had.
Slipping through, Aquino slamming down. Timeout, Roger Powell and Valpo. Liberty has stretched the lead to 5. The Flames playing from behind early on. They're now in front. 7-0 run for the Liberty Flames over the last 50 seconds, and Kenny, this was the highlight.
That's a big-time back cut. Finding that guy on the back cut is one of the more difficult things to do as a basketball player. When you can have a connection like that with your teammate, it pays dividends.
Already 3 boards for the Minnesota transfer in Isaiah Enan for Liberty. And after the Flames trailed early on, a furious run over the last minute has lifted them in front, forced Roger Powell to call his first timeout. Beacons back to the offensive end. De La Cruz Monegro on the drive, right elbow, he is clamped. Cutting in, tries a tough contested shot, and that falls off, and a foul on the rebound.
First foul of the game. That's a tough possession right there. A lot of one-on-one, not much ball movement.
So Roger Powell, the first to go to his bench. He brings on Kasper Sepp, who had that latest shot attempt, the sophomore Estonian, member of the national team. His coach with the Estonian national team was roommates with A.J. Moye, assistant coach for Valpo. That's brought him into this Beacons club in his second year with the team. Cleveland now on the drive for Liberty. Outward, it's Talon Peter. Cleveland carving. 6 on the timer. Cleveland bashing in. Hook shot goes.
That was a nice hook shot. You get stuck in the corner over there. It's tough. Both 2 possessions in a row now on offense for both teams. They've gotten stuck playing one-on-one ball.
Schwieger trying his own. That pops out. Rebound slapped out and into the hands of Javon Malmer. Cleveland has it up top. Led the team in rebounding last year. Top returning big for Liberty. Aquino finds Cleveland on the back cut. He catches the contacts and battles to the free throw line.
You can tell that it was a big focus for Valparaiso coming into this game to be intense on defense. You can see it on their, like I said before, their bench and just their play on the court. Unfortunately, some of these Liberty guys have been able to find some good one-on-one opportunities though and connect.
Cleveland just a 54% free throw shooter last season. This Liberty team was worst in CUSA in free throw shooting. It was really the lone offensive struggle for a Flames team that had their way on that end of the floor. They were the best three-point shooting team and field goal shooting team in Conference USA last season.
I think anytime you make a conference change like that, there's going to be some growing pains. It'll be interesting to see how they come out this year and compete.
Richie McKay told us Liberty dominated in the A-Sun. They won every single conference regular season title from 2019 on until they left the conference, as we get a reach-in foul here on Yates. And he kind of reached out to some people he knew in the coaching community and said, hey, look, we're making this conference change. Is there anything we need to do? And he said, from a lot of people he heard, nope, you're good.
Yeah.
And then last year in CUSA, he realized we are a very small team and needed to get some size out of the portal and in recruiting, and did that this year. Right with a wild drive. It's pulled out of his hands, and that will bring us to a timeout. Pretty short stint there, 14-6, Liberty on top. Approaching the halfway mark of our first half here from Xenia. Richie McKay's team up 14-6 early on. Tony Bennett pupil. This is his longest tenured stop. Richie McKay, he's been a head coach in a number of places. Was with Tony Bennett at Virginia. Quick catch and shoot out of the timeout, and it's off the front rim. Nearly an offensive board, and a battle for it. It's all right down on the floor, and a jump ball whistled.
It's only the 3rd offensive rebound for either team in this game. They're really forcing teams to one shot here.
Valpo had the better of Liberty early on, but since then it's been all Flames. A 14-2 run over the last 5 minutes has grown their lead to 8. Cleveland, first team all-conference selection in preseason in CUSA. Accelerates, working the baseline. Forced back out. Cleveland inside. Moffmer gets the space.
The third backdoor pass today. You can tell that they work on that, and it's a part of their offense that they focus on.
Sepp, the Estonian, high floater, too strong. Rebound batted around into the arms of Schwieger. Traffic shot, it falls. Rather, that's Schmidt that's on the attempt for Valpo. Fifth year in Olivet Nazarene NAIA transfer. Finally, some points on the board for the Beacons. Cleveland in on Sepp. Big size advantage, uses it, +1.
Really taking advantage of the size advantage there. It's something that we talked about before the game. On paper, it's glaring how much bigger one team is than the other.
Liberty's got a lot of size, especially in that new look front court. One guy that's not new, though, Zach Cleveland, and Liberty's loved to get him back. Averaged 11 and 6 last year and 129 assists.
He's able to just back down, get to his spot, get that shot that he likes. It's the second time he shot that hook shot. It looks a little bit out of control, but clearly it's something that he works on a lot.
He'll take a breather, and Owen Aquino, JUCO All-American, is back out there. Devon Ellis coming on for Valpo. One of many Beacons from the Link Year Prep program, one of the top post-grad year programs in the country out of the state of Missouri. Batted away.
Active hands.
Loose ball secured. Mothmer forced back out. Porter running things up top. Junior scoots inside, high shot, won't go. The tap back on the second try. It falls for Aquino.
2 points, 2 rebounds.
6 points, tied to lead all scorers for Owen Aquino. Going the other way, space opens up, but quickly closed off. It's Aquino on the rejection of McNair.
Liberty is able to use their size to really make up for getting beat in straight line drives there, which is one of the more difficult things to do on defense when you get beat in a straight line.
Stays on that end, approaching the halfway mark, opening frame. Liberty leads it by 13, their largest advantage of the game. Schwieger been quieted so far to just 2 points, has it in traffic, swatted again. It's a no-fly zone in the paint. Owen Aquino with another block. Get another look, and Aquino has just been brilliant in the paint. Going the other way, though. A mid-range shot, plus the foul for McNair.
The and one 17-footer, you don't see that very often. After that start, 23-8. They've really come out here firing on offense.
They'll send Justice McNair, true freshman from Joliet, Illinois, to the free throw line. Went to the same high school as his head coach, Roger Powell Jr. Joliet West, all-state selection in Illinois, knocks down the free throw. And that will make it a 10-point game. Little confusion on the scoreboard there, had it up 21-9, now 21-11 following the free throw make. Just crossed the halfway mark in half number one. Valpo, 2 of their last 11 from the field. Liberty will operate the press break, and it's Porter from up top. Peters 3, knocks out. Pulled down by Tyler Schmidt. Twice an NAIA All-American. Schmidt driving, spinning, scoring.
Scoring is one of those things that goes to every level. If you can score the ball, if you have a feeling for that, you can really do it anywhere.
It's really a big question mark for Schmidt. As Coach Roger Powell said, like you said, you can score pretty much anywhere if you got the talent, as that rattles off. And Valpo's going to try to run the floor.
Oh.
Tipped away. Scooped up, Gabriel McKay, son of his head coach, has it in the corner. His try from 3, that's off target. And Schwieger's got the rebound for Valpo. McNair, contested triple off the iron. Pulled down with one arm by Aquino. Continues to be a force on the glass. One-on-one up high. Aquino just lost his man and has more. First into double digits. Owen Aquino's got 10. Drive for Schmidt, and his pop-up shot from 5 feet is short, but he's fouled.
He's come out firing. That's his third shot today. He's only been in for probably 2.5 minutes. You can tell that it's a focus for him to score. But it's difficult. That last possession, they take that quick three, and they get a defensive rebound and bring the ball down the court, and they get an easy shot at the bucket. Obviously, they didn't make it, but it's always disheartening as a player to work that hard on defense, come down and get a quick shot like that, and it's just, especially when you're down like you are right now, just kind of getting into the flow of the game.
The teams will bring on a slew of subs. Tyler Schmidt, a great story from Valparaiso, Indiana. Used to go to camps back when Roger Powell, head coach of this team, was an assistant with the Beacons under Bryce Drew. Transferring back for his 5th year after a very successful NAIA career at Olivet Nazarene in the Chicago area. Lead trimmed to 8. Valpo's looked better since the under-12 timeout. Matheny down low for Cleveland. Swings it back up top. Tons of room to run from Offmer.
Start getting into those zone full court presses, 3/4 court presses.
Ellis the other way with an answer.
You really got to communicate. You're going to give those buckets up.
Caden Matheny, 3rd team Conference USA selection last season, 2nd on this group in scoring. Now Aquino down the lane, inside out. Looks like that pass was intended for Decker, but Cleveland cut it off. Matheny through traffic for Decker with 4 to shoot. Matheny gonna have to haul one up, and got it!
That's a backbreaker.
Caden Matheny, 41% from deep last year. That is lethal. Ellis with another answer bucket the other way to calm this gym down.
Pushing the ball inside is something that Valparaiso needs to try and do. These quick threes, if you make them, they're great, but if they don't, it can be the death of you.
Matheny had it roll off. Feeling himself right now. Wouldn't bounce for him that time. Now Schmidt. Pulled back down. A right wing shot is way short for De La Cruz Monegro.
A little more ball movement at that time, at least. Get the ball inside out. It was a good shot.
Cleveland bullying in. Skyhook doesn't go. Running the floor, De La Cruz Monegro gets fouled hard. And look out. De La Cruz Monegro will be helped up to his feet. But very fortunate that looked like he avoided what could have been much worse contact potentially with the basket support. That'll bring us to the under 8 media timeout. Valpo's punching back as Liberty leads it still by 9. This was an absolute hammer from Caden Matheny. Back here in Xenia's, Liberty leads Valpo 28-19. Jefferson De La Cruz Monegro headed to the line and knocks down the first free throw.
It's always a very vulnerable position to be in as a player going there on the fast break. It didn't look like it was anything intentional, though. It was a clean foul, hard foul, but a clean foul.
And a 2-for-2 trip for De La Cruz Monegro. Lead back down to 7, and a major part of that, Kenny, Valpo has worked their way back on the glass.
Yeah, only trailing by 2 in total offensive or total rebounds right now. If you're going to be able to come back in this game, you're going to have to hold them to 1 shot.
Deflection and a possession win for Tyler Schmidt.
Tyler Schmidt was one of the guys I was really looking at coming in before this game, just on paper what he looked like, and he's come out and played a very big role in this game so far.
He's already been in big moments. Coach Roger Powell told us in a buzzer-beating shot to make some Olivet Nazarene history, give them their first tournament win in a number of years in the NAIA National Tournament. Said he's looked good in practice. The question was, could he measure up to the D1 competition? He's looked like he has so far. Ball in his hands, Schmidt. Back out for Ellis, baseline drive, he's fouled.
Getting to the basket. That's what they've been able to do these past few possessions, and they're finding success. Those quick shots, three-point shots early in a possession are going to hurt you if you're not able to make them.
That'll send Devon Ellis to the free throw line. Ellis, one of those guys that was brought in for his experience out of the transfer portal at Maryland Eastern Shore last year. Former all-region player in JUCO, and ended the year hot, 11 straight 9 or more point games on the tail end of last season at Maryland Eastern Shore. Averaged 11.6 points for the year. Goes 1 for 2 at the stripe. Rebound pulled in by Aquino. Matheny back for Cleveland. Extra to the corner. Peter driving, swinging, finds it in the corner, and connects with the tray.
And it's hard enough to find one good shot in possession, and they were able to get two. He passed up that shot, the first shot in the corner.
Back to a 9-point lead. Ellis shoulder in to Peter, and he'll be called for the foul.
I think that's become a big focus for Valparaiso in these last couple media segments here. Get the ball inside.
Liberty up to 5 fouls as a team. 2 away from the bonus for the Beacons. Shaw wanted the catch and shoot, but he was defended cleanly. De Avero pushes for Ellis, mid-range jumper, that's buttery.
They're holding their own inside. I didn't see that before the game on paper, but they're definitely holding their own inside and getting it in there.
Pretty significant size advantage for this Liberty team, but like you said, Kenny, especially of late, Valpo's looked like they've measured up better to that disadvantage. Peter opens room for himself, going up high. It clatters off.
They always talk about make the extra pass. I feel like they're making a couple too many extra passes. Passing up good looks.
De Avero just gave it away. Porter running, leaves off for Aquino, threading through to put it home.
Transition baskets are daggers when you're trying to make a comeback.
Still a single-digit game for Valpo. Liberty led by as much as 13 in this first half. Just over 4 minutes to go in it. Shaw off for Ellis. Ellis fades. His line drive shot off the back iron.
Another one-on-one possession. There's just not a lot of flow to their offense right now.
Porter to the corner. Cleveland's three. Grazes the front iron, and Schwieger on the rebound.
Schwieger just boxed him out to the three-point line almost.
De Avero, Schwieger left alone. It fell short. That looked off the whole way. Cleveland pulls the rebound down. And we get an official's timeout, it looks like. And that will bring us to a timeout on the floor. So they'll tend to the floor here. Looks like an issue with that. We'll be back after this. Liberty up 9. Back here at the Wooden Fieldhouse, some of the AIA Total Athlete tip-off. And a quick officials timeout. They were working on some clock issues. Got everything squared away, and off we go once again. Valpo has stayed at arm's length with Liberty, but it's been the Flames' lead for most of this first half. Cleveland inside with speed.
Nice slip on the ball screen right there. That's really tough. Really tough to defend.
back to a double-digit lead. Wright took a spill. Back to his feet. Shaw from up top. The Phoenix native pulls back and buries a line drive.
I don't think that ball got above the rim. It's a good shot, though. Good shot.
Snuck its way in for Isaiah Shaw. Saw limited time at Grand Canyon. Hoping he'll see more here at Valpo. Off the handoff, Porter finds Yates, alone for three. He's got it.
You could tell that was going in just from the way he caught the ball. That was a confident shot right there.
Roger Powell said he was worried of this Liberty team. They shot the lights out from three last year. Might be able to do so again and have here today. Ellis couldn't get it in at the rim. Matheny now with a tough crossover, up and under. He is fouled and will go to the line. So shifty for the small guard, Caden Matheny. We talk a lot about Liberty's size, Kenny. However, bit of a smaller backcourt. They are tremendously skilled.
Yeah, and you can tell, I mean, that last shot there that the guy made with 1 second left on the shot clock, being able to pull something like that off, it's not just luck.
Caden Matheny, MAC all freshman team selection back when he was at Bowling Green. Coach Richie McKay told us we tried really hard to recruit him out of the state of West Virginia from high school. Elected not to go with us, went to Bowling Green, spent a couple years there. There was a coaching change prior to last season. He entered the portal, and from there the relationship was already built. It was an easy decision for Matheny to head to Liberty.
These days you never know where the carousel is going to stop with the transfer portal. You guys don't commit to certain schools, and all of a sudden 2 years later they're playing for them again. It's a wild experience as a fan, as somebody that follows the game.
Something that was really interesting as Matheny hits the second free throw, though, is when we talk to each of these head coaches, you can tell, especially at the mid-major level, which has kind of been ravaged by the portal since its inception, both Richie McKay and Roger Powell Jr., they're starting to figure out how to use it to their advantage, recruit guys maybe that aren't just going to hop in at first opportunity. De La Cruz Monegro with the right hand.
Yeah, that's a great point. I think at every level you find guys that maybe are overlooked in the recruiting process or whatever, and they were able to go into JUCOs, D2 schools, NAIA, and bring guys up that they feel like can compete at this level.
Both of these schools have guys from all of those places. Aquino finds Matheny on the cut. Out of control, he just tosses it out of bounds. We'll go back to Liberty here. Now the clock management may be starting to begin with 1:56 to go first half. And the Flames have kept the lead around 11. It's going to go to Valpo. Back to the offensive end. Sepp, hands off for All Right. One of the best names in college basketball.
When I read that name, I was excited to meet him.
Schmidt, his putback on the follow, gets Valpo back within 10. Matheny back out for Cleveland. Moffmer threw it away, but recovered. Now he's got a chance to redeem, and does with the three.
It's not very often you get a second chance like that in the same possession.
Moffmer up to 7 points. Right down low for Sepp. In traffic, a nice fake to open up the two.
The game's so back and forth. We're still sitting at a 10-point lead. It feels like Valparaiso is closing that lead, and all of a sudden Liberty does something, hits a three, gets a big offensive rebound, backdoor cut dunk.
Cross court, Moffmer off the mark. Liberty cannot hold. Yes, they can for the final shot.
The shot clock didn't reset on time.
Yeah, it looked like there was an issue there. It took a couple seconds to reset, and that will allow Valpo to hold this here for the final shot. Bench was screaming for All Right to keep it around half court. De La Cruz Monegro nearly got trapped. Pressure alleviates. 10 left to go first half. Trying to get it back within 10. The Western Michigan transfer, Jefferson De La Cruz Monegro with 3, 2 and 1. Tough shot at the buzzer, off the front iron. And that is how this first half will come to an end. Well, for the first couple of possessions, it was Valpo that had the early energy, but Kenny, the size advantage early allowed Liberty to get in front, and then it was just punch after punch, one from each team, and Liberty kept that advantage around 10 for much of the first half.
Yeah, I think Liberty was able to get some really easy buckets on those backdoor cuts that I've been talking about, and that's something that when you're able to do that, you can really get your offense in a flow.
Let's head down to our sidelines. Chase Yance is with Liberty head coach Richie McKay.
All right, we're here with Coach Richie McKay. You guys are shooting the ball really well right now, and you guys have protected it. What has been the key to that?
We have good shooters. I don't think we're taking care of it as well as we usually do, so I'm a little frustrated with that. But Valpo's doing a good job. Got to solve some of the ball screen stuff. This is why you play these games. You want to play someone good early just to know what you're not. And this is a really good test for us. So hopefully we'll be a little bit more consistent in the second half.
What's going to be one of the keys going into the second half with consistency as well?
Keep them out of the lane. Like, they're laying the ball up the last 10 minutes. So we got to get that solved.
All right, thank you, Coach.
All right, Chase, thank you. That's Richie McKay, head coach of the Liberty Flames. He's been doing this for a long time, and he's got his group in front by 10 at the half. Kenny, before we toss this off to break for halftime, just one thing that's impressed you most, you think, about this Liberty team in the first 20?
Well, the ball movement has been something that's been consistent over the past few minutes. So I think that's really when they started picking up their scoring. In the beginning, they were getting stuck in the corner on one side of the court, and they were having trouble against this Valparaiso defense. It was very active.
Liberty shooting at 15% better than Valpo, 53% from the field in that first half. After 20, here from the Wooden Fieldhouse, Liberty leads it by 10. We'll be back after this. Stay tuned. Welcome back here to the Wooden Fieldhouse. Kenny Freeze, Luke West Foley with you as Liberty leads Valpo at halftime by 10. Wilberforce University band with us. And Kenny, you mentioned it a little bit before we went to break, but it felt like Valpo was toe-to-toe with Liberty for many spurts of that first half, but a major part of why they just could not chip into that lead seemingly. They gave up a lot of easy shots.
Yeah, a lot of easy shots, and the other thing is rebounding. Valparaiso's actually been able to stick with them in the rebounding battle, which is honestly a little bit of a surprise for me. But when the game started out and Liberty couldn't score, they were holding them to one shot, and now all of a sudden Liberty gets a couple backdoor layups, easy three-point shots, breakout layups, a couple quick shots over here that end up on easy runouts for the other team. Those things are where the difference is right now in the game.
Valpo as well did not hit a single three, 0 for 6 in that first half. Getting outscored from beyond the arc and in the paint. Obviously not a great recipe, but there is stuff to build on for this Beacons team because, again, the defensive energy when they could get set looked really good. And on the offensive end, there were a couple individual efforts that really showed some promise.
I think Tyler Schmidt was, it's kind of what we saw on paper. He came out, he protected the ball. He played within himself. He was able to get some easy shots, get himself acclimated to the game. Valparaiso on offense needs to really focus on moving the ball from side to side. You're watching Liberty play, and the ball's moving from corner to corner up to the top, and they're finding somebody open. You're making them defend for 30 seconds. Valparaiso needs to get a little bit more of that.
All right, take us into the Valpo locker room right now. You're Roger Powell Jr. What's your message to this team headed in to the second half down 10?
I think bring back that defensive intensity. I don't think that it's really gone down too much, but you can tell that there's a little bit of a drop off there. Keep that defensive intensity, maybe subbing guys out a little bit quicker so you're keeping that defensive intensity through the whole second half. And then get the ball inside. They've been finding success inside and not taking those quick shots. That's where you really get yourself in trouble.
On the Liberty side, obviously they had their way in the majority of that first half. Seemed like the execution of the game plan was pretty on point. Is there any key in the locker room, just messages other than keep it going to try and sustain that headed into the second half?
I brought it up at one point during the first half, but it seems like maybe they're making too many passes. Did you notice a couple times you have guys one guy wide open in the corner, he makes a pass, runs all to the other corner, he gets another wide open shot. It's like it's difficult to get one good shot of possession. Finding two is even harder, and they've been able to do it a couple times, but really just taking what the game gives you.
We'll be back after this for the second half. Valpo and Liberty here from Xenia. Second half about ready to get started here from Xenia. We'll now head down to our sidelines. Chase Yance with Roger Powell Jr.
Coach, you guys are down 10 coming into the second half. You guys didn't shoot particularly well from the three, but you are hitting the offensive glass. What are some things you guys want to change in the second half?
You know, I think obviously shots fall. Sometimes they don't. First half, we go 0 for 6 from the three. Good shooters doing it. You know, I think we'll get better at that. You know, we kind of lost our way and let them get loose on some threes in the first half, which got them going to one with the shot clock running out. I think that got them some momentum. But you know what? You know, I thought our guys fought. We got some, like I said, offensive rebounds. We got to have that same intensity. We got to limit their threes, and they're gonna fall this half and keep playing with our pace. You know, because our pace when we get stops is hurting them.
All right, thanks, Coach.
All right, thank you, Chase. There you hear from Roger Powell Jr., second-year head coach of the Valparaiso Beacons. Luke Westpoli, Kenny Freeze back with you for this second half. And Kenny, Coach's comments pretty on point with your thoughts on his team. Effort and intensity-wise, they're in a great spot right now. Just need to fine-tune some of those easy baskets they allowed on one end and maybe be a little more patient on the offensive side.
Yeah, you're not going to have many halves in a college basketball season where you shoot 0 for 6 from 3. So I think, like he said, you're going to get some of those to drop this half, and if they're able to do that, they have a chance. They have the recipe to come back. So.
Again, Valpo 38% from the field in that first half compared to Liberty's 53, and the 0 for 6 from 3 was the other mark that really stuck out on the Valpo side. But again, it was a Valpo team that was getting out-rebounded bad early on in this game by a Liberty squad that has a big size advantage up front. How they finished that half, though, on the glass was pretty impressive.
Yeah, Valparaiso's winning the offensive rebounding battle right now. They're losing by 3 in total offensive rebounds, but they're playing very scrappy, and you can see that on offense and defense, especially on the glass on offense.
It'll be Valpo ball to begin the second half. Again, really glad you're with us here, opening day in college basketball. We wait on this all summer, so very, very exciting.
College basketball is back.
We are back, and couldn't ask for a better facility. This facility opened up in June. It is beautiful if you have a chance to get out here. This is unbelievable. This is one of a few basketball courts they have out here. They got a rock wall. They got a wrestling room, all sorts of stuff here in Xenia on the Athletes in Action National Campus.
I was trying to drive around the campus a little bit, and it is impressive. This facility in particular is extremely nice. They have, I think, four courts out here. They can probably turn this into a couple more, but this is impressive.
Named for probably the undisputed greatest college coach ever, John Wooden.
I don't think anybody's arguing with you on that one.
7 in a row? Certainly not. We're underway here in the second half. Valpo will begin. They started off the top really well in half number one, got the first couple of buckets and a couple of early stops. Schwieger gets swatted into the 10th row. It's Aquino again.
Schwieger was looking for a foul there. I didn't see it.
We'll get another look here. Aquino coming into the second half, almost in double-double territory already with 8 rebounds. And goodness gracious, it's been a no-fly zone. He's got 3 swats. On the secondary possession, Valpo, though, converts. It's Devon Ellis.
Get into the basket. That's going to open up your opportunities around the three-point line when you actually get them.
This is a key matchup right here. Cleveland against Schwieger, and that skyhook is deadly.
Right hand and left hand. He's been automatic with that today.
Cleveland up to 10 points. Schwieger overhead back outside. De La Cruz Monegro. Diavero off the heel. Nearly an offensive board, but Schwieger couldn't hold on. Matheny, the quick guard, flips the floor.
found the mismatch.
Aquino in the post.
You can see they're trying to get the ball up the court. We only have 3 seconds off the shot clock, and they're already set up in their play. They're trying to play fast.
Shaw tries it, and it rolls off.
Still 0 for today from 3.
8 tries now from deep. And you connect on even just a couple of those. You're looking at a different game, but Coach Powell said those will eventually fall. Feels confident his team will hit them. Matheny, oh, that's Golke range.
Golke range, I love that. That was a good shot.
The catch and shoot ability for him has been on display as we get a foul on the drive, but that ball is in his hands and out in a flash.
They're shooting the ball with confidence, and you can see it when they're doing the ball. They have the confidence from their coach, and they have confidence in themselves. Coming off a little dribble handoff here. That's a tough. Coming off of dribble handoff to into a step back, that's a difficult thing to defend. Wouldn't call it a high percentage shot either, but
certainly
obviously
not.
for him it is.
Again, Matheny last year, 41.2% from 3. Liberty team that has a couple guys that shot 40+% last season from beyond the arc. They can shoot it from deep.
You know, when I was playing, 30% was good.
Liberty's 40% on the game, 6 for 15. It's off the well and scooped out by Enan for Liberty. Matheny trying again inside. He gets tacked. All right. The freshman from Mexico in to pry that one away.
Matheny got stuck down there in the trees. That's a good duck in.
Enan, turnaround, too strong. Picked up by Luth M. Koulibaly, the Holy Cross transfer. Not see time in that first half. Off the glass, Schmidt couldn't handle, batted around, and it'll go the other way.
On that last Liberty possession, underneath out of bounds plays are a really good time to get duck ins by your big guys, and you saw them take advantage of it there. It didn't convert, but it was a good play. That was Schmidt's first miss of the day, too.
Enan's drive, double teamed and fouled. They'll get Schmidt for the foul, and that will send Enan to the line to try and stretch out this 7-0 run.
That's a tough matchup for Schmidt. He's given up probably 6 inches there. Maybe even a little bit of speed as well.
Isaiah Enan, 6'9", redshirt junior from Germany. Played 5 seasons at Minnesota, but still has eligibility left because of a couple years that he missed for injury. He missed the entirety of the 21-22 year and then the 22-23 year. Went 2 years without appearing in a game. Most of his playing time came his freshman season prior to those injuries. Now he's transferred out of the Big Ten and into the Missouri Valley.
See that more and more these days. Guys getting to play 6-7 years in college. See, this is where you get stuck. You get stuck on one side of the court towards the end of the possession here.
8 to shoot. Wright just takes it and misses it way left. It's out of bounds and kind of felt doomed from the start there, Kenny.
You can feel it. You can feel their offense stop. And when that happens, they get in trouble. When they're able to move the ball, it looks so much more free-flowing, and they're able to get open looks.
Porter off the screen, whips it all the way across. That's what size will do for you. Keeps the possession alive for Liberty. Cleveland slashes. 7 to shoot. Cleveland backing in. Tried to slip through for Enan. It's tipped out of bounds. 1 left on the shot clock. We'll see what Richie McKay can draw up here.
I thought for sure he was going back to that hook shot again.
Porter will inbound it. 1 left on the shot clock. Got to get something quick here. And no chance. Well defended by Valpo. They were clearly looking for Caden Matheny in the corner, but Beacons knew.
Having that awareness of the shot clock and underneath out of bounds is big. There's not as much that they can do with 1 second, obviously, so your defense really tightens up. Or at least it should.
See the three-point shooting there on your screen. That's a major reason why Liberty's got a 17-point lead right now, their largest of the night. All right on the drive, and another block from Owen Aquino. That'll take us to a timeout. Aquino's not letting anything in his house. Liberty's up by 17 early on, half 2. Back here in Xenia, take a look at the Missouri Valley preseason poll. Valpo picked 10 of 12 in the preseason, but a lot of question marks around this Valpo team with the transfers not only, but also the development of some of their key guys. One of them right there, Cooper Schwieger, getting to the free throw line. But man, the Missouri Valley has just proven they invested in basketball, and they've become one of the best mid-major leagues in the country. It is so, so tough to build out of the bottom. Valpo won 3 games in conference last year, but hoping they can compete in year 3 under Coach Powell, or year 2, excuse me.
Like you said, a lot of that has to do with the guy at the free throw line right here, seeing if his development can continue to grow. One of the hardest things as a player when you get an award like that, freshman of the year, first team all conference, all that stuff, it's difficult to take that next step the next year, keep working.
Cooper Schwieger, Missouri Valley Freshman of the Year, and talk to Coach Powell. A lot of guys like that, and especially in a good mid-major league like the MVC, you hit the portal right away when you win an honor like that to maybe chase some NIL in a bigger school.
Yep.
As inside, a hammer thrown down from Mottmer.
I think that speaks volumes about Coach Powell, though, and his vision for the school.
Well, he told us a great story about Schwieger, and when he was recruiting him, he came from Linkier prep program. His twin brother's playing here now. He transferred over from Wright State in the offseason. Inside, Schwieger gets contacted and fouled, and he'll go to the line. We'll get another look at that big-time dunk from Moffmer. Look at that cut. Rocking the rim. But Schwieger at the free throw line. He was a good free throw shooter last year. And Coach Powell told us when he was recruiting him, it was May of his final year of high school, and he said, "You're going to be the MVC Freshman of the Year," to him and his parents in his living room. And he said when Schwieger came in on campus, he was trying not to be the worst guy on the team, let alone win that award. But he said that trust that he had in him, he was the only Division I coach to offer Schwieger. And obviously the trust factor played a huge role in Schwieger ultimately deciding after a couple conversations with Coach Powell late last year to come back. Aquino elects not to take in mid-range. Instead, it's a 3. It's Talon Peter.
You know, that was a good extra pass. It's not something that you see as much in this NIL era, though. Guys sticking with coaches with the teams that recruited them.
Foul inside on Schwieger. He's nodding his head. He got a little tug as he tried to get free towards the basket. And that will give Valpo a second chance on this possession. Lead, meanwhile, has opened up to 19 for Liberty. Valpo's 0 for their last 7 from the field, and kind of hurt by some of those similar woes we saw from them early in the first half. Shaw catch and shoot. Needed that one.
Breaks that three-point shooting drought. It's always interesting watching the plays that coaches come up with on out of bounds. Underneath out of bounds is one of the most creative places that a coach can be.
Back to 16 points, the deficit for Valpo. Cleveland's up and under. He got hacked, and he'll go to the line.
You see Liberty really focusing on getting to the basket too. They have that 3-point shot they got 2 possessions ago was because of that backdoor cut, finding the guy, making that extra pass, and actually taking the open look that they got.
Schwieger picks up his 3rd foul for Valpo, so something to monitor as we move forward. And he will exit the game for now as Casper Sepp and Jefferson De La Cruz Monegro are back on for Valpo.
Not too much foul trouble for either team. Schwieger and Enan both with 3.
Neither team got into the bonus in the first half. Cleveland 1 of 2. Keeps the lead at 17. De La Cruz Monegro stops his step. Feeds near wing for Shaw. Ellis leaving off, 9 to shoot. Tough defense. Shaw takes a deep 3, raises front iron, but an offensive board from De La Cruz Monegro. Important second chance on this possession for the Beacons. Sepp closed off, feeds to the corner. De La Cruz Monegro missed it short, and Liberty holds strong.
I know I sound like a broken record, but they moved the ball. They moved the ball that possession to the opposite side of the court 3 or 4 times. Also makes it difficult for defensive rebounding too.
Look at this ball movement the other way. Peter for Cleveland. Step inside the arc, and a long 2 goes for Moffmer. Lead up to 19 for Liberty. Valpo needs a pulse. Sepp looking to provide it. All forced back out. Shaw tries his hand and gets an unlucky roll on a tough shot at the rim. Cleveland running one-on-one. Pirouettes and lost it, but it will stay with the Flames. And Liberty will keep it on the offensive end of the floor.
If they're going to have any chance of making a comeback here, every single possession is important at this point. They have very little room for error.
It's so interesting as we get a look at Richie McKay, because he was under Tony Bennett at Virginia for so long. Of course, Bennett's been in the news lately with his retiring right before the season starts. Said he talks to him every day, talks to him even more now, he joked. But some of the trademarks of Tony Bennett teams, they play slow, they kind of grind you out. While they do that on defense, they can do that on offense. Liberty scores a lot of points and continuing to do that here today.
That was one of the interesting things that the coach said about Liberty was he's a player's coach. It doesn't matter if it's at the beginning of the shot clock or the end of the shot clock. If they have a shot, he wants them to take it.
Sepp's 3. Missed it. Rebound for Cleveland. 11, 6, and 6 for Zach Cleveland. Looking for more. He stuttered his feet and got fouled underneath the basket. That'll send us to a break. All Flames lead up to 21 here in the season opener for Liberty. We're back after this. Past the under 12 timeout, Liberty has opened up a 21-point lead over Valpo. Flames for their last 4 from the field. Over that same stretch, Valpo 0 on 4 tries. Aquino has been a monster tonight and adds 2 more to his total.
Another easy bucket for Liberty. You're giving up too many of those easy buckets, and that's where this lead's coming from. It doesn't feel like, it doesn't feel like they've been out playing them visually, but then you look up at the score and you're like, oh wow, they've just been grinding it out.
McKay off the inside iron. Rebound by McNair, the freshman for Valpo. And off the window and in. It's 2 more for Tyler Schmidt.
I think that he's really fit the bill tonight. I know we've talked about it a couple times, but I'm impressed with the way that he's stepped up and played at this level.
got 10 points. Second on Valpo, only to Ellis, who's got 11. Moffmer catches contact, and Sepp fouled him. Powell's not super pleased with the call as Valpo will make a sub and bring on De La Cruz Monegro.
It almost seems like there was some defensive confusion there. One was switching, one was fighting over. Sepp got put in a bad spot.
Aquino is 8 for 9 from the floor. Maybe looking for more. He'll dish. Almost gave it away there. 8 to shoot. Cleveland. Swashbuckle. No tough finish, but it falls right to Decker on the rebound. Carving inside. It gets swatted away. A deflection going the other direction for Aquino to break that up.
Liberty's come out in the second half and taken over that rebounding battle. They're winning the battle by about 7 right now, and they were losing at the end of the first half. They've come out and made that a key.
Major reason why the lead is 21 right now for the Flames. This is their largest of the game. Open fadeaway there for Ellis for mid-range.
That's a tough shot. You're not going to want to live on those, but obviously he gets that one to go.
Moffmer off the fake. Right hand. It's short.
When you watch Liberty's offensive possessions, they have Valparaiso on a string almost the entire possession. They're always recovering.
Schmidt got partially tipped in the air, found De La Cruz Monegro to keep the possession going. Now Schmidt catches contact and scores.
Put his shoulder right in his chest and able to get that layup to go.
All right, Liberty seeing the lead shrink a little bit. Valpo's inched back. Ooh. Who else but Aquino maybe to provide some juice. Open three. It's good for Peter. A silencer.
Yeah.
And an offensive foul on McNair.
Just this whole second half, they're taking one step forward and 2 steps back. I think that Schmidt is going to find some success in conference play this year and playing with Valparaiso. I wouldn't be shocked to see him become more of a focal point of their offense as he gets more comfortable.
12 points off, 5 for 6 shooting as a guard. Very solid Division I debut for the Valparaiso native.
It's a good story. Very good story. Oh no.
Breakdown, but the pass a little out of the area code for McKay. Instead, it's Peter up top. Wright pushing ahead. Schmidt gave that a good thought, electing not to take the three. Wright's drive, in traffic, he scores.
Getting a couple shots to go here recently.
Perfect on their last 4 attempts from the field. Back within 20 for Valpo. Lead that was as high as 21 couple times. Cleveland backing down, approaching triple-double territory potentially with his 11 points, 7 rebounds, 7 helpers. Shoulder into the chest and a blocking foul called. And that will take us to break. So we'll be back. Liberty's got an 18-point advantage here from Xenia. Back here at the Wooden Fieldhouse. Check in with our sideline reporter, Chase Yance.
Hey guys, when looking at this Liberty roster, half of it is new. And the big thing for them is being really tenacious and having sound guards. But looking at this roster, they have to be big on the boards. Looking at the boards, Isaiah Enden and Owen Aquino have been the really big keys to this team as they're winning the rebounding battle, and they have been really good overall.
Thank you, Chase. Back out of break here. Valpo to the offensive end. Within 18 points, and De La Cruz Monegro gets fouled.
That's a good possession. They found the guy in the post, somebody he feels like he can score on. He was able to get to his spot, get the defender out of position, and draw a foul.
So De La Cruz Monegro will shoot 2 for BioSteel All-Canadian selection. And some tryouts for some Canadian youth national teams. Knocks down the first free throw. Again, one of a few guys experienced at the mid-major level, brought in out of the portal by Roger Powell. They were one of the least experienced teams in the entire country last year, and so that was a big focal point when targeting transfers of who they wanted to bring in.
Finding guys that fit his scheme, fit who they are as people. You know, that's what one of the main things that he talked about in his portal experience was finding those guys. He used the term transformational, not transactional.
From the mantra of how they go about their recruiting, says college basketball has kind of become that way. It's more of a transaction between two parties, coach and player, but subscribes to kind of the more old school theory about player development and such. Matheny driving in, lays it with the right hand.
Unfortunately, some of these mid-major schools that do recruit like that and focus on player development, sometimes their hard work gets, they reap the benefit. The other schools reap the benefits, but it seems like the guys here at Valparaiso have bought in.
Now taking it the other way. We're going to see a couple teams in our nightcap that certainly have had that happen to them. FAU and Indiana State coming up about 30 minutes after the conclusion of this one, final game of the night. And a really highly anticipated matchup, but a couple of teams that really are similar to the successful teams of the past couple years in name only, almost completely refreshed rosters we'll see tonight.
Yep.
Schmidt's turnaround off the window, kissing it in for 2 more. Schmidt has been so impressive tonight. Brightest spot for sure for Valpo, 14 points off 6 for 7 from the field. For the NAIA transfer and 2-time All-American, Cleveland just got free on the blow-by. De La Cruz Monegro fouled again underneath, and that should, I believe, put Valpo into the bonus.
That's 2 possessions in a row now. They've been able to find whoever's guarding Metheny down in the post.
So the 1-and-1 coming up for De La Cruz Monegro. From the same area as Tavon Walker, name that some Beacons fans might remember. Former guard with this Valpo team in Greater Montreal. There's the front end of the 1-and-1. Kind of mentioned it a couple breaks ago, Kenny, but this is a very interesting Liberty team in that, as you put it, you don't look up at the scoreboard for 4 or 5 minutes. Things maybe look relatively even in terms of energy, in terms of vibe on the court, and then you look up and Liberty's added 5, 6, 7 more points to their lead.
Right. This is the smallest the lead's been. I don't know the exact time on it, but
yeah, it's been a while.
Down to 16 here.
Matheny slipping through for Cleveland. Extra. Porter near side. Matheny almost knocked it off the glass. De La Cruz Monegro pulls back down. Jab and drive. Ellis, tough shot. It won't go. Matheny rises for the rebound.
16 points is not as big of a lead as you think it is. It's 6 possessions. If they're able to string something together here, they can make it interesting. But you gotta knock those shots down.
Matheny drives, and another speedy finish for Caden Matheny. Kenny, how long does this go before you have to start speeding up offensively for Valpo?
They're already there. I think that they need to they need to be looking to score quickly and making sure that the other team only gets one shot.
They get a foul under the basket. It's Ellis. Players kind of milling about, and officials are going to discuss here. And the team's getting a breather. They're going to go to replay here. So there was some kind of hard contact under the basket. And because of that, they're going to take a look and maybe see if there's any flagrant potential for that collision underneath. It was Ellis that wore it for Valpo. And that will bring the officials to the monitor here. Richie McKay pretty adamant on the Liberty side that this was potentially incidental, but try to get another look at it. Looking forward for each of these couple teams, Liberty will be at home coming up on, they'll be on the road, coming up this weekend against Seattle. It's Valpo that will be at home against Concordia Ann Arbor on Friday. Valpo will get used to playing at home as the Beacons have their next 5 coming in their home gym. Roger Powell said that was very important. He said his team felt a little bit tired last year in Missouri Valley play. They traveled a lot in non-conference and thought that really wore his team down the stretch of the year. Valley play starts on December 5th. They'll play one game against Drake before a brief break from conference play. They'll resume it for good on December 29th against Bradley. And again, Valpo picked 10th of 12 in the Missouri Valley this season. For Liberty, they'll be at Seattle, and Conference USA play starts in the new year on January 2nd. The game against Seattle coming up on Saturday at 8 p.m. The Seattle Redhawks have quietly become one of the better low-major teams in the country. They won the CBI last year, so that's going to be a pretty tough game coming up on the road for Liberty and a nice test for them. Seattle coming off 4 straight winning seasons. Liberty's also going to get to play Charleston and FAU in the Field of 68 tip-off coming up in a couple weeks. They're going to play on a lot of neutral floors here this season.
Yeah.
And Liberty was pretty good on them last year, winning 4 games. But that Field of 68 one is another one to circle. That is a tough weekend for this Liberty team, taking on new head coaches at both Charleston and FAU, but a couple of guys that are really well respected around the country.
Yeah, it'll be. I'm excited to watch obviously the game tonight, but then the game against Charleston. I'll definitely be tuning in for that. But going back to what you were talking about with Valparaiso having 5 home games coming up in a row here, you have all these new guys coming in. You finished last in the Missouri Valley last year. You're trying to make things gel together. It's going to be, I have to imagine that Coach Powell's very excited to be playing at home for 5 games in a row to try and get the wheels rolling on this team.
Obviously, you have the fans behind you, but how important is it also to just, from a player standpoint, be able to play at the gym that you practice at every day?
I think more so than being where you're practicing every day. I mean, obviously that plays a part in it. But just have that feeling of like you protect your home court, and that's something that the whole team, the fans, coaches, everybody around the program can kind of go forward together with that goal, protect your home court in your season. And if you're able to do that, you're setting yourself up for success.
This is what they're looking at, by the way. We were a little bit blocked from view here, kind of next to the Valpo bench, but there was actually some pretty aggressive contact underneath. And
I think it's the hand coming off the ball.
Yeah, Richie McKay's demeanor at this point, it looks like we might see something coming up against Liberty. So it's a dead ball contact technical foul to Owen Aquino of Liberty. Appreciate our officials giving us the explanation there, and that will send anyone Valpo wants to the free throw line. They'll choose Jefferson De La Cruz Monegro, 75% shooter last year. Valpo 13 of 15 from the line today. They've been very, very good in that category. With just under 5 to go, you need to hit these.
Yeah, I think Coach McKay, what he was trying to say is he's just protecting the ball, but I don't think he could see the angle where his arm came off the ball. And then, it wasn't a punch, but it looked like it, to the official, and maybe in replay in slow motion. I think it was unintentional, but it's going to get called if you're flailing your arms like that.
Meanwhile, pretty big chance coming up here for Valpo to maybe make a last-ditch effort into this game, as they're going to steal 2 points and the ball here. So maybe really chip into this lead if they can get some points. Shaw. That swirls off the iron, and Valpo comes up with 1 out of 2. They get the free throws but can't score from the field.
Yeah. Would have cut the lead down to 14. Those are kind of must-make shots.
Deep three. The big man connects. Javon Moffmer up to 14 points.
Every time you start to feel Valparaiso get a little bit of life.
And a foul up top. Believes Sepp will head to the line.
Every time you see them try and get a little bit of life in the game, Liberty comes down and hits them with a dagger like that. And that's not an easy shot either. For him to make that shot, it's a big moment in the game, even though it's a 16-point game when he took it.
Rather, it's going to send Devon Ellis to the charity stripe. And Kenny, the disparity in three-point shooting, 9 for 22 for Liberty for 41%, 1 for 13, sticks out like a sore thumb for Valpo, but it has just felt like every single one of those threes that Liberty has hit has come at a crucial point in the game. And not only percentage-wise is this Liberty team as advertised from the three-point line, they just hit really clutch shots over and over again.
And in a lot of different ways, too. They're getting them in the corner, they're getting them off the dribble, they're getting them off dribble handoffs. They really find ways to get themselves to the three-point line and find themselves with good shots.
Porter, open lane, and finishes over his head.
I think Allright's hand may have gotten caught in the net there. He looked like he was going to get back there to defend that shot.
Sepp in the post.
Good
the
move.
Estonian with a good fake to open up that shot.
That's some of that Eastern European post moves right there. Never leave your feet, but you get a wide open layup.
From Tartu, Estonia. He's played for the Estonia national team, part of the group that got them promoted to the A division in FIBA back in 2022. Cleveland pushes out. A fadeaway is off the front rim for Matheny. All right.
Yeah.
Into the post and a foul.
Yeah. Elbow made contact with his face there. They're going to call that every time.
That'll bring us to our final break. All Liberty up 19 here for the Wooden Fieldhouse. The Flames going to cruise to win number 1 on the season. Just under 3 to play here at the John Wooden Fieldhouse with Kenny Freeze alongside with Wes Pulley with you. Chase Yance on the sidelines. Trace Fowler, Reed Mouse, Casey McAllister, rest of the great crew back on production. Thanks so much for being with us. It's been a great event. We still got one more coming up for you. FAU and Indiana State, the nightcap, around 7:30 here tonight.
I think I'm going to have to stick around for that one.
It's going to be a fun one for sure. Two of the nation's top mid-majors going to clash here at the Wooden Fieldhouse in Xenia. Liberty has looked the part of one of the best teams in CUSA here, especially in this second half. Looks like Moffmer just kind of mistimed his jump at the rim. It'll fall back down to Valpo. Both teams just killing some time here. Oh, thrown right into the arms of Moffmer. What a great day he's had today. 14 points. Second, or third rather, amongst all scorers. So we get a timeout for subs by Richie McKay. And he'll bring some guys on. And that will bring us to a timeout on the floor. So 2:03 remaining here in this game. And again, opening night of college basketball. So many teams in action. Kenny, your Xavier Musketeers going to be in action later tonight in a highly anticipated season there. And this is just a great time of year, isn't it?
Oh, it is. I could go on and on about Xavier, obviously, but no, it's gonna. I'm very, very excited about this season in general. Just being a little bit more involved in the media world and that kind of stuff. I'm excited to get started.
This Liberty team really looks like they can compete in CUSA. It's year 2 for them. Last year it was a logjam. Sam Houston ended up winning the conference in the regular season in their first season in CUSA. Liberty actually beat them during the regular season. Liberty was in a 4-way tie in the standings. I mean, it was just a complete muck-up in CUSA. There's been some expansion in that conference too this year. They've seen pieces move in, pieces move out. But Liberty looks like one of the better teams in that conference, especially with the display they put on tonight. You mentioned it a little bit earlier on during a break. This has been all facets of domination from this team.
Yeah, one of the things that stands out to me about Liberty is coming into this, when I started doing the research about the team, you think about them as just like a high-scoring team, right? But they've come out and they've really played physical. They've played good defense. They've taken care of the ball. They've done all the things you need to do to win, and on top of that, they've also been able to score at a pretty high clip, and that's going to make them a dangerous team in the conference for sure.
Liberty is shot pretty much wire to wire, over 50% from the field. They're at 53 right now after a slow start in the first couple of possessions. Once they found that energy they needed on the offensive end of the floor, started to be a little more intentional with the shots they were getting. It really never stopped from that point.
Yeah, Valparaiso really couldn't get that defense intensity back like they had in the first couple of minutes, and that's natural. You know, you come out with all that adrenaline flowing first game, you know, got the jitters, you got a little bit of extra energy, whatever it is. They couldn't really get that back.
So with Coach McKay calling the timeout for subs, we got a new look here on the floor. Back around, a screen set by Kai Yu, the redshirt freshman from Guangdong, China. Really excited about what he can provide in the future for this team. Another one of the link year guys. Here he is inside. Oh, the whole bench erupted. They thought he was about to tear the rim down, and I think we did too.
I think everybody did.
He lost it on the way up, but was fouled in the process, and he'll go to the free throw line.
Talking to Coach McKay before the game, he's very, very excited about Caillou. And I think that with his size, if he's able to start producing even a moderate level, you're going to see him to start getting playing time, because you can't teach that being 7 foot tall.
This is just year 3 in the United States for you. Moved over for his final year of prep, again at link year, like a lot of these guys on both Valpo and Liberty and the teams we'll see later on. There's a lot of representation from that prep program in the state of Missouri. And Coach McKay said when you watch him work out, your jaw's on the floor because of the talent. Said with the language barrier, still learning English and having to be able to communicate as quickly as you do, sometimes working things out defensively at the speed of the Division I level has been a little bit of an issue, but there is all kinds of talent with the 7-footer from China.
I cannot imagine, on top of trying to become a Division I basketball player and compete at a high level, to have that language barrier on top of it all. That would just make it even that much more difficult.
Right on the charge and draws the foul.
You know, it's one of those things that you see more often than people probably realize is these big guys like him that come in and they're young and they look really good in workouts and all that stuff. Playing with the speed of the game at this level is something that you can't really take into consideration when you're watching them work out.
Wright connects on the first free throw. Yeah, it's super, super hard whether you're in summer league or playing prep to replicate the speed of Division I basketball, and that's something that really coaches all over the country will tell you. The lights are very bright out here, and when you throw maybe a freshman on the floor for the first time, there can be a shock factor before they start to adjust.
No, that is a time when I would say that playing home games is very beneficial. Having your fans behind you as a young player is something that is, you can't really replace that as far as just learning the game in a safe environment.
Liberty will hold here. This is Curtis Blair, very highly touted recruit, top 10 player out of Virginia, getting some time. Mitchie McKay said they're going to play some freshmen this year. So this is some crucial time here late to get these guys involved as we have a foul away from the ball, it looks like.
Something that stuck with me, too, about our conversation with Coach McKay was how he talked about he's not looking to put the best 5 players on the court. He's looking to put the best 5 players that work well together on the court and kind of experimenting with that through their preseason, their first few games coming up into their conference play, where obviously they want to improve from last year.
Said they want guys that are all about the team. As the free throw is knocked down from you, getting his first couple of collegiate points here. Said it might take them a little bit to adjust because of all the new pieces, but they're super talented. They don't have as much experience running the systems that they do as opposed to the typical veteran-heavy roster they're used to. However, he said this is probably a more talented team than maybe Liberty's used to. But looking at how they've performed here tonight, I think the adjustment was pretty fast.
I think it was pretty fast. I think that there are some rules in that.
Look out, Decker with an NBA three.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be tough to defend that if you can't stop somebody without a pass to just shoot a three from 27 feet.
Schmidt will knock one down, and add another to his really nice day.
But like I was saying, I think that some of these lulls that you're seeing where they're getting stuck on one side of the court or the offense isn't flowing, a lot of that stuff's going to start to go away as these players get time to play at game speed together. But they've looked very good today.
Gabriel McKay will dribble this out. And his father, Richie, christens year 9 with Liberty with a dominant 20-point win here in Xenia. 83-63 your final. The Flames taking down the Beacons. And man, can he start to finish. This Liberty team was really impressive on both ends of the floor.
Yeah, and there was just a couple different times in the game, 2 or 3 minute spurts that really opened up the lead, and then after that they were just steady. They didn't play outside of themselves. They were able to get to the spots, get the shots they wanted, play well on defense. Neither team really had a eye-popping rebounding performance. I think that they competed well with each other there. But just those 2 or 3 minute spurts that came throughout the game that really opened it up.
Game's leading scorers, Caden Matheny along with Owen Aquino. Each guy with 16. The latter 8 for 9 from the field with 11 rebounds. And it was a block party as well for Aquino as he finished the day with 5 rejections. Didn't have any at the tail end of the game. All those came in about the first 22 minutes. You were maybe looking at a triple-double night from Aquino. But regardless, a tremendous way to start his season. And he will be with our Chase Yance shortly as the player of the game. Liberty will take on Seattle coming up on Saturday. Going to be a really interesting game for this Flames team. A couple of very strong teams on opposite coasts. But for this Liberty team, the sustained effort looked really, really good throughout. We'll step aside when we come back. Chase Yance will be with Owen Aquino. Post-game festivities here from the Wooden Fieldhouse. Welcome back to the Wooden Fieldhouse. Liberty 83-63 victors. Chase Yance with the player of the game, Owen Aquino.
Here we are here with Owen Aquino in his first game as a Liberty Flame. How did it feel to get out there today, man?
No, I'm just trying to have fun, with the guys, new team. But I think we already got a lot of chemistry. We're already playing like a real family. Just trying to have fun.
16 points, 11 rebounds, 5 blocks. You filled up the stats here today. What really inspired you?
First game, we're back. I'm feeling pretty good playing right now with the guys. I came from a team where I was the main guy, but right now I got Zach Cleveland, Caden Matheny, CP. They put in the ball in my hands. I'm just playing too comfortable.
What's been the biggest difference when it comes to JUCO to Division I? I know it's only been one game, but just what's been the big difference?
I've been working the whole summer to build my body for this shit. But, physicality and the way everybody runs. Yeah.
All right. Thanks, Owen.
Our Chase Yance with Owen Aquino, player of the game here tonight. 16 points, 5 blocks. You take a look at our final stats. Liberty 83-63 victors over Valpo. And Kenny, this was a dismantling. A lot to love about the Flames' performance.
Yeah, that was, like you said, it was a dismantling. They did it, and they did it in a very systematic, methodical way throughout over 40 minutes. It was a dominating performance by Liberty today.
So Liberty, victors over Valpo, winning by 20. We're not done here tonight. Coming up in a half hour, we'll have the nightcap, FAU and Indiana State. You're not going to want to miss it here on TotalAthleteTipOff.com and the television affiliates of Gray Television across the country. That'll wrap it up for us. For Kenny Freeze, I'm Luke Westpoli saying so long. We'll be back with you in a little bit. Thanks so much for tuning in.